Hey guys, today I thought I would do a quick update on where I'm at within my Hobonichi Cousin for 2020. I have thought about doing a monthly flip just so you guys can see my daily pages because there's a lot of requests to see that. And push came to shove and we're 3 months in basically, and I'm finally getting around to it. So without further ado, here is essentially a Q1 update in my Hobonichi Cousin. So I do have a different cover on my planner. This is a Midori A5 clear cover. It is a little bit too small for the Hobonichi, but I just took a hairdryer to it and stretched it out a little bit and then kind of set it with some heavy books on top of it for a week or so, and now it seems to fit just fine. It will like occasionally pop open every now and then, but my normal cousins do that even without a cover on it because I start to kind of stuff these a little bit with stickers. I like this cover because it kind of allows me to have a nice easy pocket for a couple things in there. And then we'll flip into the pages. So I did end up picking up this yearly overview kit from Virgo and Paper. I haven't decided what to do with this. I thought about doing my word of the year, which was originally space. And then through the Power Sheets process, I've came up with a new word of the year, which is grace. And I thought about doing that in there, but I'm kind of waiting until I feel the right inspiration or I feel like lettering it. So for now, it's just pretty. I am still using my future log as a calendex, which means that I index my daily pages. I'm pretty up to date through February. March, I kind of just do this as I feel like it, and I need to go back in and color code them, but I don't keep up with that as well as I need to because I have a lot of muscle memory right now in this planner, but I will definitely get around to doing that. Up top, I've been keeping track of like favorite skincare from that month, a favorite song, and a memory about Brandon and I, just to sort of keep that in the forefront of my mind. And I'm still planning on printing out some photos. I just haven't gotten around to it for my monthly highlight. My monthly spreads have actually been a lot of fun. I did do a back plan of this for the month of December on my channel, so I will link that in the cards if you want to see what that ended up looking like. But what I've been doing within my monthly spread is doing my habit tracker, and then otherwise I do some of my pre-plan events and then a sticker and a highlight of the day. When I place these stickers down, you'll notice that I kind of bump between corner to corner. So the first row, everything's in the left-hand corner. The second row, everything's in the right-hand corner. And I just think it looks best that way. But I pulled in some monthly spreads from Bunny Plans. I do currently have a code with her shop, so I will put that in the description box for you if you are interested in picking up any of her monthly kits as well. But loved this purple kit a ton. This is really cute. And I did pull in some of my like foiled script stickers from Rose Colored Days that are a little bit smaller that I liked. And then this is where we are so far in March. I used another kit from Bunny Plans, and then you can see that I've kind of been pre-planning a little bit, trying to use this a touch more functionally, and I'm really liking that. Still doing my daily habit tracker, and then I added in these 2 items that come from my Power Sheets, which are my monthly priorities, and then my weekly tasks. Not sure how I feel about this, but I set this up both here and in my daily pages, and I referenced it a lot more here, so I think for April this will be kind of the version that I go with. And then I've just been doing everything in sticky notes for my pre-planning within this cousin, but my bullet journal still kind of reigns supreme as my overall pre-planner. Okay, so now we'll move into my weekly spreads. I have made a few changes over the last couple months, but overall this still pretty much remains the same. This is my only planner where I have like a visual weekly overview spread where I do all the pre-planning on a weekly basis. Been tracking my hours and workouts and what I've been reading primarily on the side. I do have plan with me's for several of these weeks. This week in particular, let's see. So this week I did a rewind plan with me or like memory kept because I did fill this out in my 2019 Hobonichi. This week I did a plan as you go, and I love how this turned out. I might try and do more plan as you goes a little bit more, but what that really means is that instead of me putting in all my appointments on Monday or before the week starts. I planned day by day. So Tuesday, I'd set up Tuesday and then add in everything as I went. I love how full this ended up looking. This week, I pre-planned the majority of it. I think there's a plan with me for this one as well, and I love the cool blue tones that I had in this week. And this one I also have a plan with me for, and love purple. Purple's probably my favorite color, so I really liked pulling this in with a touch of green. It was really springy for January, but why not? And then this week was one of my favorites, but I'm a sucker for anything red or orange when it comes to my planner stuff. I'm not really a pink person, but I love reds. And this week was using up as many stickers as I could from this Paper Milk Lunar New Year sheet that I had picked up, and absolutely love how all my weeks turn out when I get to use red as an accent color. This week, I think I have the footage for, so hopefully I'll get a plan with me out on this one, but I love how classy this looks. It's all just sort of like gray and silver tone based, and I pulled in some stickers from a leftover B6 kit I had from, I think, Sadie's Stickers. That's who this is from. I'll double check, but I will link down below. But love, love, love how this one turned out. And then over these last few weeks, I had started doing like a sticker instead of writing what my habit was, which I think looks really cute. But as I'm going back, I have to like kind of remind myself what that was. So pros and cons. This week, I adapted a weekly Hobonichi Weeks kit from Virgo and Paper. So that's where like the box, the date covers, and some of these washies are from. But it was really cute colors and I loved using this. And the thing about week stickers is they're even smaller, and I like having like a smaller box within the week instead of something that's necessarily perfectly sized. I think Virgo and Paper now does like cousin sized weekly kits, so I'll eventually end up trying them out. But this is the week of Valentine's Day, and I wanted the least amount of pink in my spread possible, and this was a really cute kit for that. This week I had like the pen issue of a lifetime. I think I was traveling and all my pens kept going out on me, or I like broke the tip off of something. So I think I have like 4 or 5 different pens, and it just got a little bit messy, but I love how my appointments ended up looking out. I just did like a swatch of a Tombow and then put one of these hexagons, again from Bunny Plans, over that, and I just thought it looked like really minimal and chic, but I couldn't resist pulling in a couple character stickers, so you know I did that. This was the week of my birthday, and I will be putting up the plan with me for this one because I had so much fun planning it out. But I pulled in a ton of gold and silver foil because I like a mixed metal feel, and I pulled in basically as many Harry Potter related stickers that I had to fill out this week. So like tracking my work, I had a Happy Day at Computer where it's like Gryffindor themed, and I had an owl from Pigeon Paper over my birthday, and I pulled in just all sorts of Harry Potter related stickers, and I had a lot of fun setting this one up. This week may be one of my favorites, but I switched pens this week. So I went from using a Uni Jetstream in 0.5 to a Tombow mono drawing pen in 01 for all my writing. I like using that fine liner. I've definitely used it before, like in my daily pages, but this was the first spread where I used it pretty much specifically in my weekly spreads. And then I used my Tombow Funnosuke brush pen in the hard tip to write in all of my events, and love how this looked, and I didn't have to bother with a pencil board, so it's just a little bit bolder than my usual ballpoint pen. The ballpoint pen I think is like more satisfying to write with. I'm not typically a felt tip type of person, but I loved how it looked, and I'm willing to sacrifice to do that. So I've been sticking with that this week as well, and really, really loving how this is turning out by using that pen. It just kind of simplifies things, and I haven't even had to think about my pencil board. So loving it. Don't know if I will stick with it because the Uni Jetstream is life, but this pen works really well. I can still highlight after. You just have to actually like count to 3 before you highlight, where I don't have to do that with the Jetstream, but it is more or less like smear proof, if that makes sense. And I've been using more sticky notes to kind of do all of my pre-planning for the next few weeks, because I've really just been in here a lot more than my bullet journal so far this year. Okay, so the daily pages. These, I started out with this day before the month starts, journaling about my word of the year and then doing my word of the year habit. And I'm kind of finding that this really isn't working for me as well as I thought it was. So I think I will be switching that up for April, but I liked doing something consistent with each of the months. And then I started out using my typical method, which is sort of like collection, reference, tracker information that gets indexed on the left-hand side of the page, and then just daily journaling on the right-hand side of the page. And love how that looks. That's basically what I landed on in 2019, but I was getting a little bit bored with it, if that makes sense. Like I was just getting too used to it and felt a little bit less inspired to be back in here on a daily basis. And I was trying to use like more character stickers versus like printed out photos to keep this notebook a little bit less bulky and focus a little bit more on the writing. And when I got to February, I think is when I start to get a little bit more creative with the process and just trying out some new things and how that ended up looking. I started sort of like in this top section writing like the big event of the day. You'll see me kind of do that every now and then, but definitely not like every single day. It's just sort of when I felt like it. But I was kind of getting disenchanted a little bit with the daily pages. I did like end up taping in a letter from my husband, and I did my journaling for February and set up my monthly goals. And aesthetically, I love how this looks, but it just wasn't something that I ended up referring back to like at all. So in February, I decided, okay, like I needed to do something a little bit different. And this is where I started experimenting with it. And that was, what if I did my usual bullet journaling where I sort of index things in line and don't worry about making my collection as fancy. So I played around with this idea, and I have always sort of ignored these dates. I use them more as like a page number versus like, this is the date that that journaling applies to. But I liked how this felt, but I was still losing my collection. So then I came across this idea where I was like, okay, let's still use this as like a bullet journal, but then we'll just index things a little bit bolder using my brush pen like I had been using earlier. And I liked how that looked. Now, quite frankly, I got overwhelmed. I went immediately back to what I was doing, but that's kind of where I started to experiment. And you can see here I did something similar again, where I bullet journaled, put in my collection, and then just kind of kept going throughout the page. And I think eventually I just kind of got to the point where I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I went full in. So I think this is where I really started here at the end of February. And this took a lot of the aspects that I set up in my bullet journal and kind of moved them into my daily pages, such as my weekly pre-planned page and like seeing that task list and being able to reference it. And then now I'm tabbing it and then moving on with my daily to-do list. So I am using these more as like day specific pages this way. So this was my to-do list for February 25th. I had one thing to collect and then other notes, and then I did my journaling like I normally do. And that's kind of how I've been playing with this a little bit more, and I'm really, really loving how these are looking. Now, March I did set up as sort of my inbox a little bit of journaling for my word of the year. Loved how this looked, but I just, for some reason, when my monthly stuff is in the back, I never think to go to it versus like when it's up here in the front, which is why I think condensing it to this makes a little bit more sense for me in the long term. But for the month of March, I sort of kept up this practice where I did like a weekly to-do list, and then my collections, and then daily to-dos. So once I kind of settle into this, there is a little bit of a pattern with my pens that you'll see. So my collection is in a Tombow brush pen. My daily to-do list is in a Tombow mono drawing pen in 0.1. And then my journaling is in a Uni Jetstream in 0.5. So to a lot of people, this could look a little bit cluttered, but to me, it helps give me nice separation because I really try to maximize these pages as much as possible, and I still think it looks good personally, so I don't mind having the 3 different pens, but all of them dry really quickly, all of them can be highlighted easily, and I'm really enjoying just like pulling in stickers that are related to my collection, or just one that I've always been afraid to use that I just thought was pretty, and decorating my pages like I normally do, putting in Pi Day with a nerd sticker. And so far this has really just been a ton of fun, and I'm falling back in love with this planner using these pages this way. So you can tell that I'm like behind on my journaling. That's pretty normal. I tend to date my journaling at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's just something that I journal when I feel like it. Sometimes I do 3 pages at a time. Sometimes I get ahead of myself, but for the most part, I try and journal behind, because I like how the journaling looks when I write around my daily to-dos and collections and things like that. So if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. I'm still debating on moving into a spring cousin in April, or if I'm gonna stick this one through. If you are moving into a spring one, let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will catch you next time.